go completely deaf. Help.
Let me see if I could.
Oh, Michelle, can we put you up a little bit? Is that better? Hello? Can we... Michelle has caught John Hamerism. Yes, it's a disease that's creeping around the internet called John Hamerism. It's called Sod your computer. Morse code, that's it. Good evening. Oh, bugger. Actually, you're on mute. Actually, you're on mute, Deb. Deb, you're on mute. You're on mute. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I've done it now.
There we go.
Hello.
Oh, she's back. That's good. We can actually do it by semaphore, couldn't we? That'd be a new show idea. You know, Eric Von Essex show via semaphore.
I need the paddles.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this.
Not just weird.
Right.
Right.
Well, look, shall we sort of carry on for a while? And hopefully, I think it's a volume problem. If she puts the volume down, it might. Has anybody in chat got any thoughts?
Any suggestions?
Yes. Hang on a minute. We could do a mobile job.
What?
We could do it on mobile, couldn't we?
Michelle's already on mobile.
No, I could ring her.
Oh right, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
That'll stop the problem.
A little problem.
Bit of trouble. Sorry, got to put the bloody phone on again now. There we go.
Oh, cats, come on. For goodness sake.
We can hear her.
Yeah, but she can't hear us.
I'm sorry.
Right. You can't hear us.
Dr. Cat.
Right. You can't hear us, Michelle? No, she can't hear us. Right. No. Right. I'm going to phone her and see if we can actually get something.
To ring you.
Going to ring. Okay.
I've got a call coming up now.
Because we have our phones off when the show's going, because we don't want people ringing us up. You always find some soppy sod phoning me. Like, oh. Right. Here we go. Now I'm going to phone Michelle. Bloody phone! Come on. Yes, Michelle is suffering from John Hamerism. Unfortunately, it's spreading. It really is. It's John Hamerism. I think this is computer. Her computer's caught it as well. Right. Now let's have a look here. Right. Now, please put your earplugs in because this might be a bit deafening. So I'm going to give her a quick ring. Here we go. Oh.
Something's vibrating.
Oh, it's vibrating. Can you hear us now?
I can. Yes. Can you hear?
Yes, you're suffering from out of sync. That's usually a sign of seeing too many Swedish naughty films when you're suffering from out of sync. Good morning.
I'm singing well at the moment.
You're right. Right, I'll put my phone here so you can at least hear us.
Oh,
yes. Telepathy. That's what we'll have to use. Now, can you hear us first of all?
I can. It sounds like I'm on the move, but I can hear you.
Right.
Yes.
Can anybody else hear?
I can hear Michelle.
I can hear. Can you? Are you receiving us? Yes. So now we've got 3 new diseases, haven't we? Got John Hamer's Computerisms.
Yes.
We've got Out of Sync, which is the Swedish, watching too many Swedish naughty films, and this bloody computer problem. Anyway, let's crack on with the show. So at least we can crack on a bit. Right. Now, first of all, we've been in conference, haven't we? All three of us, all afternoon. And if you believe that bullshit, you believe anything. And we've been in conference with the Prime Minister of Fockham Hall, who is, if I find him, where is he?
He's in there somewhere.
Here he is Roger Ring the cat, you see. And here is his surname is Ring, you see. So his first name is Roger, surname is Ring, and he likes to be known as Roger Ring the cat, because lots of world leaders like Roger Ring the cat, you see. And the Fockham Hall group on Facebook, I was going to change the name, but we said, and after Roger Ring has passed many motions this afternoon, we decided unanimously to keep it as Fockham Hall. So there we go. Whew, you know, that's a relief, isn't it?
It is.
And, also, there's no truth in the rumours that Roger Ring has been having an affair with Michelle's pussycat, who's sitting on the lap there. So there's no truth. Definitely
not with Bob.
Truth tellers in this house.
He's what? But it raises his morale, doesn't it? You know, there we go. And Bob's not been on the scene, has he?
No. He hasn't
been missing. He hasn't been missing. You know, coming back sort of late at night or anything like that.
No, not that shenanigans.
Now, what we're going to cover tonight is several things. We're going to cover ancestor discrimination.
Right.
Why is it that history discriminates, and it doesn't matter what nationality or religion you are? What is this smug git process where they discriminate against our ancestors? We're going to go on to that, because it always looked on us, they're primitive, they were. They used to sort of chop people's heads off and all that. Minority used to, but that's it. But the thing is that I did advertise this program as how you can heat your house for £1, thereabouts. Right. So this is it. Are we all sitting comfortably?
Yes, I'm
all excited. Right, here we go. Now, I'm not in competition with Survivalist Dave, because Survivalist Dave, his idea is brilliant. He's genius. He's a good mate of mine. But his idea is for heating our home up very quickly and cheaply.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is more long term. What it is, first of all, you buy yourself, and here it is, a greenhouse heater that's supposed to run on paraffin. Can you see that there? See.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And there it is. See, and this costs on eBay about 20 to 30 quid.
Did you put the paraffin in the base?
But this is the trick of the towel.
Oh.
I do not use paraffin, because paraffin smells horrible.
Yeah, it does.
Stinks.
Yeah, it does.
Instead of paraffin, you use this.
Bioethanol.
Bioethanol. Okay. Now, it's cheap, and they say it doesn't smell. But personally, I think it smells slightly. It's a slight stinge of. It smells like a perfumed fart, actually. That's what it really smells.
We narrowed that down earlier to that particular smell.
Yes, your neighbour walks in and goes, "You've been drinking, you've been sucking pear drops or something." But no, actually, the trick is that I'm obviously got central heating and that, but my view, it doesn't matter whether you can afford the heating or not, or the cost. Don't worry about the cost. It to me, it's the principle.
Yeah.
And even if I was a multi-billionaire, I wouldn't want to pay a penny more to those thieving bastards in these energy companies. So this is the way it works. Wake up in the morning. I put the timer on, so my central heating comes on about half an hour before I wake up. Then I wake up, and you only have the heating on until its radiators are warm and you feel reasonably warm. Then it shuts off. Then you work out what rooms you're going to be in. Now, I'm normally in my dinette, kitchen and dinette most of the day, and office. So I've got two of these. There it is. Two of these that I use. I'll try and get back a bit. Here you are. There it is, sort of like a full thing.
All right, yeah.
It's called a greenhouse heater. But whatever you do, don't put paraffin in because it stinks to high heaven. And then I start that off in the room where I am, and it stops the room cooling down.
Yeah.
And I was actually perspiring. I opened the door the other day. It was so hot.
Yeah.
This was yesterday when I started it off. I've got it in the office here. It's just here. What's this, Robert? Robert. Hello, Robert. Chris, can you use an ozone generator to rid your rooms of odour? I don't know. I really don't know. I think opening the window.
You can.
Ah.
You said you can use one.
Oh, sorry. You can. I'm ever so sorry, mate. It's all the excitement of the evening. You can use ozone generator to rid your rooms of odour. Oh, that's good. So when I eat cabbage, I can use the ozone generator to get cabbage and Guinness, you know. But
oh God, what a combo!
Lovely, isn't it?
Fart season.
Yes. It's the fart jokes. I couldn't go along without a fart joke.
No.
The thing is, you can use methanol fuel. Okay. Now, methanol, which is, again, that's supposed to be odorless, but again, does smell a little bit like a perfume fart, which is better than paraffin, let's face it.
Yeah, it is, actually, to be fair.
It's £36.99 on eBay for 20 litres. Okay. And that works out to £1.84 per litre. And that's 92 pence for half a litre. And this runs, you can run this for half a litre a day. So that's 92 pence to run this heater a day.
Right.
The cost of your gas in the morning will be what? Half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to warm your house up. Don't know what that would be. So you get change out of £2, I would have thought.
Yeah.
A day. So that's 7 days a week, £14. That's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
And quite honestly, I mean, I've got two of these. I've got one in the office, one in my kitchen dinette, and it was really toasty. Yeah. And when I did a live video on Facebook last night, and I was actually perspiring heavily. That's how toasty it was. And my heating hadn't been on since the morning.
Right.
So that's how efficient they are. So if you go onto eBay, you get to look up greenhouse heaters, and it's, you know, I'll show it again. It's this. Well, hey, this type, you got the bottom bit there. So you put this on the top, like that.
Yeah.
And it really, you know, it's not super hot, but it just maintains the warmth of your house.
Yeah, if it takes the chill off, it's not so bad, is it?
Doesn't it? You always put layers on, can't you? A couple of jumpers.
Well, I didn't need to. I mean, it was that hot, you know. Has Chris given up on Dave's heating contraption then? No, because Dave's heating is for getting, if you come into a cold house, you'll get the room hot within within a very short time.
Yeah.
If you start off with a cold house with this, you'll have a cold house for several hours.
Yeah.
Because it'll take a month of Sundays. So this is why I say start with your central heating, then put this on. But what you could do, you could use Dave's idea. So to get the room hot first of all, then use this. So the two could be used in combination. So you come in, oh, cold, right, you put that on. Right, this is Robert says, ironically, I saw a great post on YouTube this morning for log burners. Sawdust and used cooking oil formed into bricks or placed into paper bags.
Yeah.
Trouble is, what about the old whiff?
I don't know, really.
Yeah. He has outdated Dave. I'm hoping to have it on here in a couple of weeks' time when that's when John can sort out his computer. Now we're going to do a test run tomorrow morning. I think it might be the browser that's a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
I think Michelle, her browser is the problem because Michelle's using. Do you mind, Michelle? We'll let a secret out. She's using
I don't mind.
Apple Mac. But by the way, that's right. There's no fumes.
I think that's what Robert's saying about the bricks and oil. No fumes.
Really? Oh, that's not bad.
Bricks and oil, you know what I mean?
I'm getting
So-
in a mucking fuddle tonight. I'm reading everything back to front, aren't I? I think actually I'm only on water tonight.
Leave
You
it
know,
to me, Chris.
I think I'll leave it to you. You know, the old. That's it. I've had a very, very busy day.
Yes. No.
No, I really have had a pretty heavy day today, so that's probably the reason why. But anyway, do you reckon poor old Michelle's sitting there? Can you hear us? Get the right.
It is low. So I'm just, I can hear you though. That's absolutely perfect.
Oh, that's
You know,
great.
classic volume,
That's great.
Considering it was before.
That's right. Well, you probably know Michelle. She does Facebook, web, podcasts. Podcasts. I got there in the end. So I haven't been on the Guinness tonight. It's the water. I think there's some. I think this has all been passed by the local council. That's the trouble. It really has. But no, she does podcasts a lot. And Debbie Fockham and Michelle were the first two people, early ones, to join Fockham Hall group on Facebook.
We were.
And we're up to 61 now, people.
Yeah.
And it's increasing all the time. So, hey, it's really going places. And I think since the change of Fockham Hall, that's the thing, you know. What's the name of the podcast from Michelle?
It's my Facebook, Michelle Smithhurst.
That's
right.
right.
I'll link it maybe, Chris.
That's right. I'll just repeat that because we may not have heard it. It's Michelle Smithhurst. There we are. That's it. So, but it's very difficult because I know the sound and all that is not the best quality and all that, but I just hope everybody can hear us.
Yes.
So we're going to go on. I'm going to promote also Miles will be coming on the show on the 15th of December. But don't tell him this. It's strictly between us. He suffers from Apple Mac as well. He's got an Apple Mac.
Apple Mac.
Yeah, it's you know. Mind you, I've got an iPad as well, but I've got ointment for it, so I should be all right.
Yeah, you put a bit of that on the plaster on top. You're right.
Yeah, that's it. People won't know. I've been walking a bit funny since I've had an iPad, you know. But it's just here. Now he's going to call it what's this? Not another diet show.
Right.
So that's what's coming on the 15th of December. Make a note in your diaries. Not another diet show. So he's going to show you how to lose weight, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, without dieting.
Without dieting. Starve yourself. I don't know.
Don't
Move to
eat.
the Netherlands because they're going to have mass starvation over there. The government's planning it, aren't they? Because they're going to, was it 300,000 or so? 3,000 farms
like
are going to compulsory purchase. And that's what Chairman Mao did. And Stalin did, but he didn't compulsory purchase, he just stole it. But that was the test run, wasn't it? To see, because they're really into starvation, they love it, you know, that's way, you know, and yes, they're really looking forward to that. It's like an advent calendar, isn't it, for them, you know? Stalin, Mao, oh yes, they're the West. Yes, very difficult. But what we're going to talk about, as I say, is I'm sorry, poor old Michelle's there sitting there, not saying very much. Oh, blummy. I've now got the phone on, got all the bloody messages coming in, dinging and bugging. Sod off, you know. Oh, yeah, it's just dinging again.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding.
look, ding, dong, ding. Do you know, I haven't been on WhatsApp for ages, and it's heaven. Because I used to wake up in the morning, put my phone on. It's like a bloody fire engine. Ding, 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 ding. There's people like all through the night. I don't get that now.
No.
Notifications on.
Yes. But Michelle, you was going to say a few words about a few things, a poem or something, before we go any further.
Yes, I've just written something came to my mind yesterday, and I thought I would write something down. It just came from my heart, so I just felt like I wanted to just to read it, if I may.
Certainly.
It's in keeping with the current situation. However, it's not as deep as I would go on Facebook, and it's not deep at all. It's just in keeping with the five senses in regarding to the telepathy. So, you know, as we know, we've got 5 senses that we use. However, telepathy and, you know, the 6th sense is a different dimension, which
Oh. No. Chris.
and that's only recently, about 3 years ago. So yeah, it's just a little poem. I hope you don't mind.
Right.
It's called "We Are the Winners." What do you see with your new pair of eyes? Our planet is beautiful. Our planet is amazing. But your life has been blighted with their lies after lies. What do you hear with your new pair of ears? Your newfound sound system in tune with the truth? Or is it the narrative force-fed through the media to your peers? What can you taste with your newfound taste buds? Are you choosing to opt for alternatives? Nature's best, farmer is less. Growing veg, it costs you way less.
Excellent. So I'm just holding the microphone to
with your new heightened
Oh, sorry.
sense of protection. Are you aware of the flowers, of the sea breeze through your hair? Or is it the smell of BS constantly in the air? What do you feel now that your heart is open? Are you vibrating in the frequency of love? Are you using that gift of discernment? For at last, your soul fits like a glove.
Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you. So I'm just standing. People ought to see me now. I was sort of balancing a microphone next to the phone. It's
Yeah.
that's why I rudely cut in halfway through. Sorry, Michelle. I accidentally cut in. I thought you'd finished because I couldn't hardly hear it. I'll have to hear it on the replay. But that sounded beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. But now what I was going to say, we're going to do a telepathy thing, which we will need with Michelle tonight, aren't we? A little experiment tonight. Okay. Now I've been looking at Rupert Sheldrake. So I've copied a few of his ideas, and the telepathy idea we did last week, it sort of didn't quite work because it's too broad. Guess the word. I mean, it's be 1 in a million. So we're going to broaden it down. Okay. I'm going to say 3 statements, and I haven't told Deb or Michelle what they are. One of them is a lie.
Nice.
2 of them are true. Okay. 1 is a lie, and I've changed it because Michelle found out what it was. We was talking. Right. So, okay.
Yep.
Number 1. I've met Chuck Yeager, the first man to officially break the sound barrier.
Right.
Number 2. I used to have shoulder length hair.
Right.
Number 3. I love olives. They're delicious. What one is the lie? I'll try to do a Bill Clinton sort of. So remember, is it Chuck Yeager? I've met. Oh, hey! Here it goes. Will I come back? There we go.
Chris has gone dark.
Is it? So when I mention a name, is it Chuck Yeager? Is it the shoulder length hair, or is it the olives?
It's not the olives. It's not the olives, I don't think. I'd say shoulder length hair.
Olives.
Okay, we'll wait. Okay, I'm trying to do a Bill Clinton. You know.
Right, we're going for what? We're going for the lie, or we're going for the.
Which one of them is a blatant lie?
Right.
2 of them are true. 1 of them is lie.
Olives.
3 of them there.
Olives.
I'm not saying a word. We'll have a look. Let me just see what they say in chat.
See who's put what.
Right.
Ruby's put olives. Aunt Sally's put olives. Dark Angel's put you don't love olives. That's too trendy for you. Mike's put shoulder length hair. And Louise has put Kurt, and I've no idea what that's about.
What's that? Actually,
Yeah.
He made an extra statement about the olives. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So So shall I try and repeat? I'll repeat them. See if I'll try and be as Bill Clinton as anything. I've met Chuck Yeager, the first man to break the sound barrier.
Mhm.
I used to have shoulder-length hair.
Mhm.
I love olives.
I'm going for olives.
Okay, so
Olives is
one's
the
a lie. One's an absolute whopper of a lie. Okay, so is it Chuck Yeager, shoulder-length hair, or the olives?
olives.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Should we? We'll wait. Give him about 2 minutes. Tempted to say Chuck Yeager.
Louise is saying Chuck. And then Dark Angel saying, yeah, confuses even more.
They actually made the film about breaking the sound barrier, didn't they? That was called. I think it was called Breaking the Sound Barrier with Chuck Yeager. He didn't. He wasn't in the film, but it's when they're sort of breaking the sound about him. Yeah. So as I say, what's it again? I met Chuck Yeager. I used to have shoulder-length hair. I love olives. So that one of them's a lie.
Definitely olives.
Right. Okay. So let's leave it, shall we, for a little while? Let them sweat, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Paul Johnson on Good Morning. Now we're talking about ancestor discrimination. And when did this ancestor discrimination really start? And it's only, I've been looking into this, and it's only when the science cult, because science is a cult, whether we like it or not. Because when you look at the BBC and the mainstream media, you always get the farts. Oh, hello, yes. Now, science has brought us marvellous things like, I don't know, making cup like this so I can drink the water out of it. And
yeah, simple things.
Simple things. It's great for practical things like bottles like this with a tamper-proof top. I spent half an hour trying to open the bloody thing this morning because I couldn't. Because I couldn't open it. I had to get the pair of bleeding pinchers on it. I opened the bastard, Anyway, so that's it. And cars and aeroplanes and that. Watch these arseholes in power want us not to have.
Yeah.
And I've been looking back, and when you look at Victorian science books and things like that, they were very polite to our ancestors. The science cult hadn't kicked in, and it seems to have only kicked in since the advent of television.
Right.
Before television, our ancestors were very well respected in many ways. For example, I actually saw an illustration by Faber-Castell. Now, Faber-Castell is a German pencil company. They've been around since 17 something. They've been around for years.
Yeah.
And they're a very old company. And it was done in 1907 showing knights jousting, but instead of their rods, they had pencils, giant pencils. So advertised Faber-Castell. And it was all saying how marvellous our ancestors were. And then suddenly we get this advent of television come along, which came around in America in about 1940s, and then in Britain 1950s, and then in the 60s a massive explosion of televisions as televisions became cheaper, and in 70s more and more, and so on. And we got this smug git kind of attitude. And I call it the smug git cult. Of course we landed on balloon because you can see as they went through all this bullshit. You thought I was going to say something else then, didn't you? But this is the problem. Now, if our ancestors were as primitive and as savagery as they make us out to be, we wouldn't be here, would we?
No, that's true.
You just think about it. We would not be here on this planet. And all we hear about in history, all we heard about is beheadings, torture, but it was only a minority of people and they were, shall we say, the elite that carried out those terrible things. The average person in the street, most of them loved it. A lot of them loved each other. They had, lots of romance and things like that. That is all pushed aside. And what's pushed in is this vile behaviour of a minority of psychopaths. So this is where we've been denied the proper history and the respect for our ancestors, because our ancestors could survive where we can't. I've never made fire without a lighter or matches. I've seen Ramirez do it, and I've seen people do it, but I've never actually made fire from sticks or rubbing two Boy Scouts together or whatever it is, to make a fire. Sorry, a little joke there. But this is the thing, we wouldn't know how to survive. If they cut the electricity off for several weeks, supposing we had a situation where they cut the electricity off, what would people do? Because they say, oh, we got gas. Yes, but gas is powered by electricity. So the pumping stations wouldn't pump the gas through. And of course, you need an electric spark to start gas cookers and things like that. So no, without electricity, you couldn't really do anything.
Yeah.
So what's your feelings on this, Michelle?
Well, interesting enough, I was reading today. I know it was saying that the DNA contained in all of us retained 14 generations of their memories.
That's interesting.
So I'll look into that book.
14 generations.
14 generations of memories, of their memories in us.
That ties in with some research I did many years ago with epigenetics. Dr. Bruce Lipton. If you go on YouTube, look up Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's done a lot of work in it. And they found out that we are still suffering from the First World War generation. Future generations. For example, they discovered that the offsprings of Vietnam veterans in Australia, the suicide rate, now I can't remember the figure, I think it was something like 20% higher than the average of offsprings from Vietnam veterans. And they reckon that after World War II, they used to have lots of special schools because there are so many children suffering from a form of post-traumatic stress disorder, even though they were born after the war, the baby boomers. So that
sometimes when we say, we've heard about people talk about, in the past life, or any past lives that they've had, we don't know whether that's just attributed to them individually, uniquely as their soul, or, who knows, maybe it's little snippets of the memories of our ancestors, who knows, or deja vu. I mean, but I know that's not going into ancestry, but
I know what you mean.
What do you think?
Well, the thing is, I've always loved Cornwall. When I was a kid, we used to go there on holidays, and apparently I used to say, and I was only that's interesting what Dark Angel says, residual memories. Yeah, that's interesting, because I used to say, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I felt that Cornwall was my home. I used to say, Daddy, we're going home this holiday. So that one's 43, but no, the fact is, and that's it. We do have this kind of strange memories, and there was another weird thing, that actor, what was it, Jeremy, I think it was Jeremy Irons. He had this calling to go to a certain place in Ireland, and he found out through genealogy that his great-great-grandmother came from there.
Yeah.
Now, I've discovered that my mother's side of the family comes from Cornwall, and before that, France. So there's a link there. There's a very strange link. And I've also felt a big link to Germany.
Right.
Now, my father's side, even though I've got an English-Welsh name, it's the English spelling, it goes it's Welsh and German, going back a couple of 100 years to German. So I'm a little bit German. So that's another strange thing. And my father always felt a great link to Germany, which is weird. Don't know why. It's an odd thing. Ancient Ruby says, I have a memory that dates back to, blimey, you've been on this earth a long time, 1156 BC. So it must be true with the research done.
And then Aunt Sally's put, children born after various wars might have been affected before conception via the father being subjected to that and that and that. I won't say any of them because I don't know if they're going to be triggers or not, but people can read.
Yes, because with my father, he actually carried a radio set on his back.
Yeah.
Because he was in the intelligence. And Shannon came out with something. She said, in those days, they were very primitive, those radios. And could it have been the radiation that caused his problems later on with his mind? Not with his mind, but, could have caused health problems.
I've been doing my video just go into that.
Yeah.
I've been doing my video for next Sunday, and I'm doing it about cursed films. And I'm not actually covering this one, but as I was doing some research, I found a film. Basically, that's the only thing about it, is the reason I'm not doing it. There's only this one thing, but the majority of the actors all died of cancer. And it turns out where they filmed the film, and we're talking John Wayne, we're talking top actors, where they filmed the film, there's loads of radiation in the earth.
That's what the nuclear test, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1950 something. Yeah. Yes. That's very interesting. That's fascinating.
Our cells are subjected to either
hang on.
The chem one or the radiation one frequency. That's what damages our cells,
Yeah.
Much that goes into it, isn't there?
According to John Hamer, he reckons that there was no such thing as nuclear bombs, didn't he? We did a show about it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, when they put a load of into people, that's what caused the problems. It's like everything else. A very strong argument for it. I'm foot in either camp with that one.
Yeah.
It's like flat Earth. I'm foot in either camp. I'm open-minded, very open-minded about it. But that's quite interesting. Actually, Robert's put a quite interesting one here. What's it? Great movies on the sound barrier are 1983's The Right Stuff. Yes, I've seen that. Inspired by Thomas Wolfe's book, and the 1952 British film The Sound Barrier, starring excellent Nigel Patrick and Ralph Richardson.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows his films, doesn't he? Yes. Yeah. Yes. And apparently, when you see them sort of the planes falling to bits and they're giving reports to the crew. Apparently, that's a load of BS. I didn't, because I won't say anymore. Okay. Right, because remember, one of these statements I'm going to make is a lie. Okay? Right. I've met Chuck Yeager, the first man to officially break the sound barrier. I used to have shoulder length hair, and I love olives. Not an olive, but so.
I think the olives is a lie.
1, 2, or 3. Okay. So, shall we let them out their misery now?
Yeah.
It's the olives. I can't stand bloody olives.
The way you said it. You could tell by the way you said it.
But I've actually met Chuck Yeager because I used to work at Henry Wood House in the BBC Architects Department. I hasten to add, freelance. I was not permanent staff there. And I went into Broadcasting House, and Chuck Yeager was coming out, and his wife, he was about the height of a jockey, very short.
Little. His
wife was outside, and he said, "Oh, thank you very much." And I opened the door. I had the door open for him. He'd been on the radio. So I said, "Oh, hello," and he, "Oh, hello," he's quite a pleasant bloke. But apparently Chuck Yeager did say that it's a load of bullshit in these films. He said, because there's only one person you're thinking of when you're in that cockpit. That's yourself. You can give a shit what anybody else thinks, and you want to save yourself. He said, you do not broadcast reports. You just go quiet and you're studying what you're doing. And that's logical, isn't it? I mean, if the thing's shaking itself to bits, you think, bugger this, I'm going to pull the ejector seat.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's this? Alan Lunt said, was Chuck Yeager the inventor of the Jaeger bomb?
Jaeger bomb.
Jaeger bomb.
Well, there you go, you see. there's the other one. That's a good point.
Handing. Oh, yes.
I don't think he actually did go back to the future, though.
Well, there's something going further on with this that I'm going to take a leaf out of John Hamer. And hopefully, if the tests go right tomorrow, John will be back next week, okay, to talk about a ship that sunk over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Not the Titanic, that changed the course of history. So there we go. But something, taking a leaf out of John's book, he was saying, I've got to be very careful because we're on YouTube, what we're saying now. You can, I don't want to get too personal, but ladies' monthlies, when they're together, they go into synchronization with each other, don't they?
True. I've had that.
That's it can be synchronized. I started her off. Look at that. Amazing. Thank you very much for the sound effects. It can be auto-suggestion. So I would come in and sort of go, oh, and you think, oh, blimey, I don't want to catch that. And suddenly your brain says,
well, look at yawning. Somebody only has to yawn and everybody else starts.
Yes. I find if I've had sort of cabbage, people tend to walk away from it. I just don't know why. And it's also, when I tell you something, this heater's very good for getting away. Yes, it's very good for actually, if you've got a neighbour, this pesky neighbour keeps coming to your house, just put this on, they go, it smells like a vegetarian fart in here. No, actually, it is odourless. It's just a very slight smell. It smells of sort of like pear drops. Or, yeah.
I think that's going back to the ladies' synchronicity.
Yes. They tie in with the alpha female, allegedly. That's interesting. But I used to find that, if you worked in an office, someone would go down with something nasty and everybody else would. A sort of synchronicity in a way.
Effect, possibly.
Sorry?
The placebo effect?
Well, it could be, couldn't it? Because I don't believe in GERMS. And I don't go down that. Well, I think there's you see, I've actually been to a talk, and if you go onto my BitChute channel, plug, I do a talk with two people that's written a book about what really makes you Tom and Dick. Okay. Yeah. And they put a very good argument out, and I'd say I'm about 80 to 95% there with them. And what they're saying is that, I've got to be careful because it's YouTube, the body gives off things to cure itself, and they're being misidentified.
Right.
So, for example, when you have a fever, the temperature of your body goes up to kill what is there, and it's reacting to what's around. So, for example, FLU was not around apparently before the 1880s.
And can I just interject as well? I'm sure you're aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently in the 1918
thingy, yes, we know what you're talking about. Yes.
Amongst the soldiers and population, they tried to push things up the noses, back of the throats, round the mouth, blah blah blah, arm down the throat, and pass it deliberately to other people. And I don't know if this is true, but apparently they could not pass it on.
Correct.
So that blows out the theory. You can't catch it, can you?
Well, it just so happened about that time that radio came in, and it jumped. You see, I think it jumped from America to South Africa, and it would have taken a couple of weeks by steamship to get there. And it jumped from America to South Africa within a matter of hours. So if people were catching it, surely it would have taken 3 weeks to get there. How comes it went across in a couple of hours?
Yeah.
So I think that's quite a, but we better not go there because the loud howlers at YouTube HQ. They're getting warmed up already. Go, you know, and watch out, truth coming out. What? Be careful, bit of censorship. You know, but you'll have to go over to my BitChute channel to hear any more about that, because we're going to talk about naughty things on the BitChute channel. But BitChute's actually censoring now. They've knocked off a lot of channels, so you got, you know, they're really coming in heavy. And I may be coming back with I did start off doing radio, internet radio, on, that's why it's called FockhamHallRadio.com.
Yeah.
And I may be going back.
Beeping?
I don't know.
I keep hearing it sounds like my smoke detector's like battery's running out or something.
I think it might be you beeping. I don't know. But this is quite interesting what people are saying in here about vitamins and things. This is what Kath has said. C is okay, but D depends. Replaces lack of natural sunlight.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Yes. And Louise has said, not seen a quack in over 2 years.
Nobody else, because they're not letting people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And remember, they are certain kind of representatives, the way I look on Quacks, as people who identify as doctors. I don't think there is many real ones around nowadays, you know. But that's interesting. But we've also got, what is it now? Now, this I've got to be careful what we say. It's a sympathetic relationship, like turning folks. If a family member, etc., is, then you also, I believe. Interesting. Yes. Now, Robert has come up with a good one. This might be a good sign to move over to Odyssey, Chris. Thanks, mate. But I tried Odyssey, and they wouldn't let me upload any more videos for some unknown reason, because I needed credits or something, and I couldn't quite understand what they're up to. But I know that Mark Windows successfully uses Odyssey. I might have a word with him, see how he gets on with it. But I just couldn't get on with it. And also Rumble. Now, you have to pay to go on Rumble. But you see, the trouble is that most of these places, Odyssey and that, you can't do live. I don't think you do live shows with the chat room. And it's only YouTube and the main ones and Rumble that you can do that with. And I think there's a few others that you can do, but they're really sort of, shall we say, people don't really know of them, and your audience figures would drop like a stone. And they're building up on BitChute. So yeah, I just do the recorded stuff, and I actually put a recording of this show on BitChute the next day, because there's some people. There's a gentleman, John. Hello, John, in Siam.
Yeah.
And he can't actually comment from there on YouTube, but he can do it on BitChute. But not say that too loud, because the old, you know, they're listening in. And that type of thing, you know. But I think that censorship is going to shoot them in the foot. Normally does, because lies need censorship. Truth doesn't. So it always has been like that, you know. But the other thing I was going to say, Michelle, is that I believe you're up in Liverpool, aren't you? Area.
In Bolton area.
Oh, Bolton. Sorry, you come from Liverpool. It's Bolton. You're in Fred. Yes. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I hope you talk to me again. You're in Fred Dibner. Was it Fred Dibner? You know, the bloke with the steam engines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's right. And do you get the sort of fluoride smile where everywhere you go, where you are, that sort of?
Well, apparently where I reside, Lancashire is one of the areas where it's manually fluorinated, the water.
Right.
Really?
According to United Utilities. So there's quite a lot of fluoride stairs, yeah. There's still a lot of people who aren't aware, you know. So it's very sad.
Yeah.
It is. But with fluoride, you know that plug, zero water filters take fluoride out. Because I looked at all the different filtering systems, and I look at the Berkey and other ones, and of course you've got the standard ones, what they called. You can buy them in Tesco's and places like that. Brita.
Yes,
Well, Brita takes bugger all out basically. But the thing is the zero water filters. I mean, where I live, they say they don't put fluoride in the water. But whether they put other crap in there, you just don't know. And the good thing about zero water filter is that it does take everything out. But the bad thing is because the water is so polluted around here, they only last 3 weeks. And I'll make mine last a little bit longer by actually decanting the water from a Brita filter jug into the zero water jug, and I can make it last 2 more weeks. So it lasts about 5 weeks here, but that's about all. You get readings of about 320 to 340 parts per million around here,
right.
and that is bloody high. That's through the roof, really, of polluted. And what those parts per million are, your guess is about as good as mine.
Yeah.
But I had a shock because I got one of these water testers, and I've got some barrels outside that water runs off the shed roof into them, water collectors.
Yeah, like water butts.
That's right, water butts. And there's about umpteen years of bird shit and filth on the roof.
Yeah.
The butts are absolutely minging. I forgot to clean them out last year, so they're absolutely minging. And I did a test. Now remember, tap water is 320 to 340 parts per million.
Yeah.
The water butt, which is minging, and all the water's run off of the bird crap, and it's absolutely minging, you'd be shocked at how many parts per million it was.
Go on.
5.
Bloody hell.
But that 5 is probably the worst bloody diseases you could wish to have.
Well, yeah.
But I wouldn't drink it, no. But it's just 5. It's quite something, isn't it?
That's mad.
But they say don't put that through your zero water filter, even though I was tempted. They said, it should be sort of palatable water that you put through there. It's a bit of an arse one, that, isn't it? Yeah, you got to clean.
Perhaps the new Prime Minister of Flockham Hall could take that advice too.
Yes. But could they,
Yeah, that's the other thing that Kath's just pointed out. Full of the shitstorm they spray water butts too.
Yes, that's
So
right.
that's floating down and dropping in.
Yeah.
I think it was talking.
Can I interject?
Certainly, yeah. I'll put my phone up to the speaker.
I am a Kangen water distributor. Sounds posh. Basically, I've got a machine. It just connects to your tap fitting anywhere, any tap, and it produces ionized, oxidized, live, because it's electrolysis or whatever it's called. It's got the 8 platinum plates inside, and it's alkaline 9.5. You've got different settings. You can actually, do you know can I say this, pesticides that are on vegetables, fresh fruits, etc. We can't get those off when you rinse them under the tap water. It doesn't come off because they are oil-based chemicals that are being put on them. So you can wash them, you can dry them, but it's still not really on because you can't get oil off with water, can you?
Yeah.
And this certain selection on the Kangen water, it produces acidic water, and the acidic water actually breaks down. You put your fruit into this water, just from the hose, that's the vibe. Put your water in there, and I think that is a very, very low. It's acidic water anyway. I think it's 2 point something. I'm not too sure. But that basically strips all the pesticides and all the chemicals off your fruits, vegetables, and the taste. Honestly, it tastes different. I mean, I've done it with the children. You know, I've said which strawberries are being washed in Kangen water, and it's not just the water, but it's the specific method that you use, and it just it strips all the chemicals away, so the taste is bound to be better, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And
Obviously.
as well, I mean, honestly, the microclusters, I mean, you can't see it in this, but when I pour a glass out, the tiny micro bubbles are just bubbling, and what it does to your blood, it just separates the red blood cells.
Yeah.
And there's videos on it. You can look on YouTube what Kangen water does to your blood after 30 minutes, and it's like being on a trampoline and you're all hairs on end because of all the the molecules that have got in between, and it's just sweet, and your blood's going yay, it's free, and it's really good. And with all the goodwill in the earth, I mean, I started off with a distiller, and obviously it strips you off the basic minerals and things like that which are in the water. So you have to get the mineral drops to add to the water. So you get it. I mean, I was suffering from cramp. I wake up with cramps and everything, thinking, I've not got enough salt in my diet, because we are electromagnetic beings. We do need electrolytes, and so I had to replace with those. But the Enagic Kangen water is classed as live water. Even my distilled water was dead, classed as dead water. Bottled water is classed as dead water. I mean, have you seen the tests of the tap water, bottled water, etc., etc.? Different brands of bottled water have got it goes black. Have you seen that with these little meters?
Oh yes.
And you can see it turning black, and it heats all the molecules up in it, and it's just amazing. So you think you're drinking really, I'm okay, I'm drinking distilled water, but it's still not adequate. But there's pros and cons. Some people like it, some people don't. Of course, because of its high oxidative content, we eat fruit and vegetables, that antioxidants, and this is just full of them, really. It's just amazing. And they use them in some Japanese hospitals as well, because it's a Japanese product. It's been Goldfield approved, FDA approved, etc. Not that we like the FDA much, but there we go.
That's interesting.
It's not, so it's really good. If anybody wants any details, get in touch with Chris or me. But, when I became aware of my health as well. And I thought, what am I drinking? Because you hear all sorts of stories, don't you, about your tap water. And I phoned United Utilities up and I got a breakdown, and it's not great. So anything for improvement that we can control.
Yeah.
Good idea. Now this Kangen water. Kangen. Now, can you give me a link to it? Because you're an agent for them, and I can put this. That's it. Kangen. That's a nice photo there.
It's a nice photo.
Yeah. And if this Kangen water, you can shove this and put it in the comments below. Not the comments, the description below. There, see. So that'd be okay. And also, can you put it on Fockham Hall on Facebook? Which is a group, and you can actually put it on Michelle Smethurst as well.
Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
that's it. Yeah, because we're all very friendly in Fockham Hall group on Facebook. People say, I go Facebook. Now this is interesting. What Kath Olsworth says. Do you want to fire away, Deb?
Yep, British Birkfield gravity water filters are great too. Get one and keep by the edge of the sink. Brilliant quality stainless steel. So there are others out there.
Oh, there's 101 ways of killing a cat, basically. There's.
Ew. Louise has just put, I used to live in the highest village in the Highlands. We would often get a warning not to drink the water as a deer had died in the water supply river. Ew.
Ugh.
Nasty.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? Well, around here we've got Vars disease, and Vars disease comes from ratweed. Yes, and that had a big outbreak of it 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Vars disease, and they say you shouldn't, if you put your hands in the River Lee, you've got to wash them somewhere else, because they have taps all the way along the Lee Valley Park where you can wash your hands and stuff. But that's interesting about that deer. Oh dear, that's awful. What about Dart
Oh,
Dodgers for group Dart? Now that is a good one.
I like that.
Dart Dodgers. They're still pushing it, aren't they?
No.
Yeah, they're still pushing it. They're still putting. Do you know something? I went out. When was it now? Thursday, I think it was. Went down, and I've never seen so many. I wonder if dab cabs. I said that very carefully. You know what I mean? Ambulances. Dab,
All right.
yeah. And I saw about 5. There's one parked outside the dentist, so I don't know. But 5 of them. I mean, once upon a time, you only saw an ambulance about once a year, twice a year. You very rarely saw one. Now, every time you go out, you see one. I don't. Is that? I guess that. I think it's a bit different where you are, Michelle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad, to be honest. I mean, I've seen plenty of people on the friends list. There was somebody today posted one. It was outside a gym, and there's about 6 ambulances outside there, and 4 gentlemen didn't make it.
Oh, dear.
And the only reason he just highlighted it is to, make people aware of how more common it is, as you say, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but
I've heard a lot of ambulances lately.
Yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Yeah, I have heard a few. Yeah.
Yes, it's quite something. But the thing that gets me though is that I think going back to this sort of our ancestors and that type of thing, would they have put up with what we put up with? I don't think they would have done. I mean, for example, go back, say, just 100 years or even 150 years. If you had a bloke dressed as a woman teaching infants, I don't think that bloke would have been there very long, because they'd have just gone in there and probably lynched them. You're not having that around our children. So what's going on? I mean, and people say, well, live and let live. Well, yeah, if someone wants to go down the road in a pogo stick, that's entirely up to them.
Yeah.
But when they're harming the minds of the young children, that's different.
Yeah.
And what gets me, and I've got to a point now where I think it's quite dangerous. I'm not shocked by anything. I used to be shocked by things. Oh, never. Now I can be presented with almost anything, and I go, oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Nothing's shocking anymore, is it?
Nothing's shocked.
I tell you what, I noticed I was doing a bit of catch up because there was nothing to watch or nothing to listen to, and I thought, I'll put catch up on. So I was watching some old show, and the advert, there was 3 adverts, one after the other, and they all featured robots. And I thought, this is how we're going. Then when I watched that, saw these adverts, and then I went on, I've got an app called the Next Door app. And apparently up where I used to live, the co-op have started using robots to deliver your shopping. And basically, it's a little truck that trundles along, and it's got a pole with a flashing light on the top. It stops for crossings. It knows when there's nothing coming and it'll go across. It goes straight to your house. And apparently they're trundling all over where I used to live now, delivering shopping. I mean, it's like your basics. It's not like a full shop. It only takes about 3 carrier bags. So people are saying, well, what about theft? And apparently there's sensors and alarms on these things that'll just go off, and they weigh a ton. And they're only like, I don't even know how to describe them. They're just kind of like a cool box, but bigger, obviously. And I presume you get a code to put in when it gets to your door so you can unlock it. But yeah, that's the way it's going, isn't it now? All robot.
What the offence would be if you just so happen to think it was a passing football?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well,
oh, dude, what's that? Boom. Yeah.
Did you see?
There's a camera on it and then sending an email down.
Yeah, there's sensors, there's cameras, there's alarms, there's all sorts on them. Apparently, a couple were saying they had to rescue one out of a patch of mud because it must have gone off the path for some reason and ended up in a patch of mud.
But what they did in Spain, I mean, about 2 years ago when they started down, They was actually had drones going along, you know, you sort of courtyards and that, going on telling people to keep indoors.
Yeah.
And then someone opened their patio door, they're on the first level, there's a bleeding drone there with a camera looking at them.
Intrusive.
And apparently Amazon, allegedly, I believe, are going to have these, well, these flying things, drones, to deliver your parcels. So that's going to be nice, isn't it, walking down the road? Now, if they can deliver your parcels with those drones, how do you know the police? Right? They're going to have cameras looking at you, you know.
Where there's a pain, there's a claim.
Well, that's right. You know, but you know, you've just trodden in a pile of dog shit and you dog shit through the pavement, along the pavement. You will have to pay a fine of £20. That's what it's going to come to, isn't it? Really. But have you seen what they're doing in Oxfordshire? The plan.
Really, hasn't it? I mean, I'm not a fan of Piers Morgan, but the world has gone mad.
Yes.
Yes. John Lennon said that. He said we're ruled by madmen. But apparently in Oxford, and they're planning it in Canterbury as well, and a few other cities, in 2024, which is not that far away. I'm talking what, 2 years, 18 months?
Yeah, something like that.
They're going to have these to save the planet. I don't think this planet needs saving somehow. It's true what George Carlin said. You know, if the planet, he reckons that humans were put on this planet to produce plastic because the Earth couldn't produce plastic. So the meaning of life is plastic because we can produce plastic, and nothing else can produce plastic. You know. So, anyway, on with the story. They're going to have these little zones where you're only allowed out of these zones for 100 days a year or something.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's by car or by human walking, I do not know. But that is really, really scary.
Very it's limiting your time.
Yes.
Your freedom.
Yes, that's it.
Don't live in a democracy anymore, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, if we had to live, see, democracy, the way I look at it, is really a scam. I don't believe in democracy. And people say, oh, you believe in a dictatorship then? No, I don't believe in government. Now, when you think about it, people that actually rule the country are usually scammers. I've often said this. I'm boring people now. And the people who run the country are civil servants. The government is there. Their prime job is to pay off the usury scam to tax you. That's their job. And give you a little bit of offal in between. Now, the thing is that we need government, like we need a hole in the head, because you're handing over power to people that you wouldn't trust to buy you a bag of chips even.
Yeah.
And this is the big problem. And there's so many people that do not know what usury is. It's a very simple thing. It's just compound interest. And I think it was Einstein, who I haven't got much time for because he's the biggest plagiarist in history, allegedly, so I believe.
Right.
And because he worked for a patent company, and that's how he got all the stuff through, because he didn't actually discover the theory of relativity. It was discovered about 30 years prior to him in London.
Right.
E equals MC squared, but that's another, I'm going off track. But he said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world because it's a wonder they can get away with it.
Yeah.
And what it is it's just banks charging interest on interest, money on money. So you actually keep countries and people in slavery because they'll never be able to pay off the interest. That's very, very simply the way it is. It's just a debt-based economy, and every every person that's tried to stop usury has come to a very, very sticky end, with the exception you know, you've got Lincoln was shot by a JFK. Well, that's a little bit. And of course, a gentleman in the 1930s and 40s had that was a Charlie Chaplin enthusiast, I think, because he had the same moustache.
Right, yeah.
Yes, he like sort of raising his legs as when he was walking along, you know. But that's a bit of a joke. But no, he went for the usual scammers. But what happened? I'm not praising him, don't get me wrong, but no. I'm a fly on the wall. I believe that you should understand history, regardless of warts and all. But what gets me is so many times when you say something, people say, "Oh, you're this, you're that, you're a this." No, I'm not. I just want truth. That's all I want. if it's embarrassing for people, go and give a damn. I mean, dictators. I don't like dictators. No, I don't like anybody telling you what to do. But there are some. I mean, for example, Gaddafi. I don't think was a dictator. I think he was a good. He did good for his people. Many would disagree with me with that. I think likewise, someone in Germany did a lot of good for their people as well, but caused a lot of suffering as well. You see, that's the trouble. Governments kill more of their own people than all the wars put together.
Yeah.
But that's interesting what Robert said. Compounded interest. It's a castle in the sky built on clouds. Yes. Yeah. That's it. I mean,
they introduce mortgages to keep people into debt as well.
Yeah.
So they just pay.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is chipping away at a little bit of interest.
Well, that's right. But do you know what mortgage means? Mortgage.
Gauge.
Death grip.
Yeah.
That's it. But really, this country prospered. Again, I'm probably boring people. I won't go on deeply about this, but Longshanks, Edward I, booted out all the gold clippers and scammers and abolished usury. And about 300 years, and this country absolutely, if you read John Hamer's book, Behind the Curtain, it covers it fantastically well. Again, there's a link below here. And 300 years later, Oliver Cromwell comes to power, and he needs money for his new model army. So what does he do? He goes to the Netherlands, to the usury scammers, and they said, "Yeah, we'll give you the dosh for it, providing you make usury legal again, and we can come back into the country and start a bank." And that's exactly what they did do. They started the Bank of England, and then every generation since then has been in massive debt, getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And they just keep raising the taxes to pay off a debt that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's only 10 years ago that this country finished paying the debt of World War II. And they reckon we're still paying back the debt of World War One because we were bankrupt.
Yep.
So we are paying taxes to pay off a debt in World War One.
It's mad, it really is.
And did you know income tax was only introduced as a temporary measure during the Napoleonic War? And they thought, government thought, what's a good idea, so we keep it. But before then, there's no income tax. So, and people say, we need these taxes to pay for hospitals and nurses. That's crap.
Yeah.
That's absolute crap, But, yes, it's an interesting one. This is Paul Green says that the Chinese buffet restaurants have robots serve your food. Well, they got one in Japan where a robot comes as like a waiter, and there's a very severely disabled person that they're employed, they're in their beds, and they actually control this robot, and they can see through the camera and they speak to the people, and that's how they get a kind of it's moving. It really is. So if you go into this restaurant, a robot will come up to you, and a human will speak to you, but that human will be severely disabled somewhere, and that's how they earn a little bit of pin money. And it choked me when I saw it. I thought, it's sad, isn't it? I mean, poor souls. But it's nice and alive.
Must be people that have sort of like locked-in syndromes type things, like motor neuron disease and stuff like that.
Yes, they're bedbound.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that beautiful? Isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very, very moving. But poor people. Women, men as well. But isn't it lovely? They can actually speak to people, and they have conversations with people. And some of them can't even speak. They use the sort of like that
technology.
Yeah. It's quite a moving thing. It got me a little bit choked when I saw it, But no. Now this is an interesting one. Robert Dorr, he's really on the ball tonight, aren't you, Robert? Another great book to read on this subject is Debt, for 5,000 Years by David Gruber. but it will change the way you look at money. Yes, yes. And the secret is, whoops, the PM is a robot and right in your face, yet no one sees it. Have you seen the new Simon Cowell?
Oh.
They
What?
are made. I don't know. What?
Yeah,
What's
I've
he look
seen
like?
Simon's new picture. He looks like he's
Plastic.
been disappeared for a few years and dug back up and tried to.
Yeah. Doesn't look good.
As he, because I call the facelifts underwater treatment. Because if you go underwater, you know, your face goes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got the Croydon facelift, haven't you? So you get the hair and you
Pull your hair
like
back.
that. That's the Croydon facelift, isn't it? But really, yeah, he's had the underwater treatment, I suppose. Also,
It just looks shocking. Absolutely shocking.
well, he always looked shocking, didn't he?
Well, not like that, he didn't.
No.
I'll have to try and send you the picture, Chris, because it's just like.
Do you get a free sick bag with it as well? A bit like
No,
Dolly
you have
Parton.
to provide your own.
Is there anything original on her? That's, I mean, she's just terrible.
Voice.
Yeah.
That's original as well. But they reckon she's MK Ultra'd up to her eyeballs, don't they?
Who are we on about?
Dolly Parton.
Oh, Dolly Parton. Hmm.
Yeah, telling everybody to go and get it. You know.
I saw that. Yes. Did you notice though? I really do believe this, even though I've got no evidence at all, that these actors and third-rate artists, I think a deal is done with them. They say, right, we'll make you famous, okay, providing you do what we tell you.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You look at...
I mean, so much is coming out now. I mean, you've got, I don't know what he stands for at the moment, but you've got Ye, who's short for Kanye.
Yeah.
But you've got different, I mean, regarding Simon Cowell, that lovely, lovely girl who won the X Factor, she's from Liverpool. Rebecca, she's a dark girl. Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson. Do you remember she won the X Factor? Or was it the other one? But
Yeah.
I don't know.
The singing competition. And she's now coming out and she's speaking against the industry as well. Not targeted to anybody deliberately, I don't think it is targeted at Thailand. But generally, she didn't have a very good experience whatsoever. But a lot of people were frightened because if they're getting the same people who are paying them, if they complain about them, they're not going to get paid. That's the lifestyle ended. That's the fast car, fast fuel, private jets. The whole music industry, is molded to suit the agenda of the people at the top who want that infiltrated down through the music, through the videos to target the young. Yeah. I mean, it's so corrupt, Chris. So much is going out now. I know about it. It's just, I don't know if you know about that, Deb, as well. I mean, it's a great time to be alive because everything's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Definitely.
I tell you a weird thing. I think it's Mark Devlin has said a lot about this, and he's quite a leading expert on it. But when you look at the hippie culture of the 1960s, well, you listen to Sonny and Cher. Now, I do like Cher stuff; she's good. But that tune, was it Little Man? I kind of like that. But you listen to the bloke or whoever it is playing the mandolin in the background, can't play a bleeding note. It's a dong, ding, dong, dong. And they reckon that a lot of these famous artists that were hyped up, that came from, Summer of Love and all that, all of them, without exception, had fathers who had high ranks in the military.
Yeah.
And all that hippie culture, hippies were devised by the CIA, because whilst people are thinking of peace and love, they're not thinking about blowing the brains out of a psychopath who's ruling over them, are they?
Yeah.
And I'm full of peace and love, yes, but then when it's used as a weapon against the people, then I start to think. And really, a lot of them couldn't play a note of music. And it's really weird. I mean, you look at the so-called artists. There's a famous now just should blow the bleeding doors off. Now Michael Caine, he's quite a character, yes, but I don't rate him as an actor. I think he just stands there and says the words. He's Michael Caine. I don't, and Elton John to me is a pub pianist that made good. I can't stand Elton John. But you know, a couple of years ago, if you've gone down the East End of London, there's loads of pub pianists like him.
Yeah.
Better, far superior. They don't get famous, and he, to me, is average. And it was that choke. Was it Tolpin that could actually do the music? It needed somebody else. I think one of them does the lyrics and the other does the music. I don't know which way round it is, but I don't rate him very highly. And all these people that were coming out promoting the old, you know what, like Dolly Parton, they're not all that really. I mean, Britney Spears, have you heard that video of her? They reckon she can't sing. I don't know. She's going, you know, because let's face it, they proved many years ago that with this computerized symphonic whatever they do, anybody can become a beautiful, fantastic singer.
Yeah.
Mind you, I doubt whether they about achieve that with me. I mean, when I was a kid.
There's hope for you yet, then, Chris.
Well, if I was in competition with a foghorn, I might just win. Just, you know, they might think it's slightly better than a foghorn. Yes.
It's a great time, isn't it? You know, it'd be great if we had some multi-billionaires who were good-hearted, who didn't want to harm anybody or control anybody in the music industry or film industry. It would be great if companies, independent companies, and you know, journalists and media companies, it'd be great if new ones were founded and started to, you know, set an example for others to follow. I think I mean, it's like your trust in the, you know, healthcare system. My trust in the music industry, because we look back and you can see how much, didn't they? They gave you know, either lyrics or they wanted this kind of music delivered by the rappers for the people in prison. So it would psych them up. It would give them ideas. It would make them go out and get all. It just made them go out and have this attitude that, do you know what I mean? They wanted to do it again, or it's deliberately to incite.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Music can do that. Yeah.
It's just when you listen to some of the lyrics and rappers, I mean, the way that they're talking and our youngsters are listening to this, I mean, what are they being brainwashed with? You know, go out and KILL and do this and go and MF and I mean, it's absolutely, you know, when you think, I mean,
well, when you look, that's right.
We are letting them teach our children these horrible.
Yeah.
And even the music, you know, all the music industry is being corrupted by the 440 tone as well. I mean, it's just all corrupt, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think once you become aware and awake, you realise what's in the films, you know, Witches of Eastwick. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And now it comes out, the new one, Hocus Pocus, and it's all about drinking this liquid to make them look beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, going into it, we all know what it is now.
Yes.
It's every thread of the music industry, the film industry. It's just been corrupted.
Yeah.
And all that needs to go.
Yeah.
With good-hearted people who can start it again from the ground up.
You're spot on, but the thing, I agree with you, but I think that the big problem is that the powers that be, I mean, look at Lady Gaga videos. Now, I can't look at it because it's designed to work on your subconscious. Blink, jink, 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 jink. It's sort of, bloody hell, what's that?
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, whether she's a bloke or not, I do not know, but...
It's hard to tell.
Yes, but it's weird. Let's put it that way. It's very weird.
Very weird. I don't think.
But some of her music,
It's all the symbolism as well.
Yeah,
Black and white squares a lot, I've noticed.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Was it? And isn't it lovely for children to sing, "I want your body, I want your disease"? How gentle. Come on, children, all together. I want your body, I want your disease. All together now. Like Joyce Grenfell, Come on,
Yeah.
Timothy, sing up, But
No, it's just
they found out. That's right. But they found out that Benny Goodman. Now, Benny Goodman was a big band sound of the 1930s and 40s. And during, I think it's just after World War II, they did an experiment. And Benny Goodman, teenagers would go along and dance and see these different bands. And they did so with a tempo. And teenagers were ripping up the seats in this theatre.
Yeah.
And when they came out, they asked them, they didn't know the reason why.
No.
Good kids went in there and suddenly they're all ripping up the seats and punch-ups and stuff because they changed the tempo slightly. I think they played Sing, 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 which is the Benny Goodman famous one that he did. Quite interesting.
It was an interesting comment there from Dan Mack. Fake Eye Paul McCartney, though, Sage of Key channel has a lot of info. They practically admit it on footage and memoir. Side notes. Eye of Horus Ra Ritual.
Is that the real McCartney, though?
Apparently, he had a little bit of a car accident.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he didn't want to tell the fans because it would cause massive
hysteria.
It's hysteria. So the CIA and everything else looked for another replacement, and they found one.
Yeah.
And there was lots of clues on the Sergeant Pepper cover, wasn't there?
Yes.
A lot of things where Paul's just got the black flower. There are subliminal messages.
Yeah.
You can hear through various people tracks that say, Paul is dead.
Yeah.
Paul is dead. Paul is dead. Things like this. It's just so weird. But why would he do it? Or are we keeping the conspiracy there to get money? You just don't know, do you?
No, you don't. No idea.
Truth anymore.
Well, the Beatles were already pushed because it's Brian Epstein, who's the manager, bought up umpteen thousands, I don't know, their records to get them to the top. That's how they got to the top. Because I think they were just average. Because when you look at their early stuff, compare it with the Sgt. Pepper's, completely different.
Yeah.
And there's a story that goes that when the Beatles first heard Sgt. Pepper's album, they said, well, this is a good group. Who are they? Because it was the engineers that did the job and put it all together. Sound engineers. But I do like Sgt. Pepper's album. I think it's pretty good, but I don't like their early stuff much. I think it's a bit raw, But really, this Paul McCartney thing. Now, the other one is T-Rex. Now, I can't remember. I think it was on the radio. I think it was. I was listening to a local radio program in the car. Can't remember the full details, but I remember it clearly what happened. They're talking about, because T-Rex, he was famous in the early 70s. He had a head-on collision with a tree.
Yeah.
And they spoke to a police officer who was first on the scene, and he said he had Berlin brakes, which means that his brakes have been tampered with. And then they said, "Oh, thank you very much." Off he went.
Yeah.
And he just had time to say, "I was taken off the case before I could look at it even more." So why do they want to do away with T-Rex?
Maybe they won't toe the line.
We don't know.
Wrong one. Like Dan's just said there, McCartney Epstein himself because he wouldn't toe the Illuminati line, they say.
Maybe. Well, look what happened to Bill Clinton. He must have gone off the rails a little bit. That's why they got that lady involved with him. It was a bit of a punishment. Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky. It's sort of, but he actually lies, but gets away with it. If we did that, we'd be a couple of years in prison. But he got away with it because of who he is, Yeah. But the other thing about a lot of these artists is that there's a lot of sort of complete lack of talent with all of them. There's no real original artists anymore. People who can really do know how to sing or act. I mean, this is an interesting one. Hello, John. Long time no see. Timothy Leary was definitely a self-admitted change agent working for the CIA. You must watch the documentary Minds of Men. Until one does, they will not have a proper understanding of MK Ultra. Thanks, John. That's interesting.
Yes, thank you.
That's very, very interesting.
It's another one for my list.
Because, well, as I say, Britney Spears, MK Ultra,
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
And the two of the weird things when Lady Gaga met the Queen. Do you remember that? The outfits look very strange. Very, very strange. It's very creepy. Yeah, because
Oh, sorry. Did you ever see that clip of Lady Gaga? She was going into a car
Yeah.
and she glitched. Have you seen it, Dad?
Weird. She was walking like a snail.
Yeah, you don't know whether they're putting it on or just.
yeah,
I don't know, but it was creepy.
Yeah.
that is interesting. There's something here. Mark's said something interesting, isn't they? If you study the face of Paul McCartney against how he was in the early 60s, they're different people. Yes, some Italian plastic surgeons have actually looked, and they said, if you look at his ears, they changed. Your ear doesn't change, and different characteristics. Because I reckon that whoever took, if they did, I'd say I've got a foot in each camp on this one, because I've heard, I think it was Mark Windows was saying that a friend of his knew the Beatles, and he said, it's all rubbish, But then you hear other people saying, no, it did suddenly change. There was somebody who was an absolute dead ringer of him. I mean, again, going back to Britney Spears, have you seen her recently? She said she seems to have had massive plastic surgery. She doesn't look anything like she used to look. Totally different.
I haven't seen her.
Well, if you looked at her, you wouldn't think it's Britney Spears. She just looks completely different.
Like
But
Simon Cowell.
Yeah, she was
all being reinvented.
Yeah, but she's a pretty little girl at one time.
Yeah, I know.
So why has she been ruined like that?
Ex-Disney children, aren't they? A lot of them.
Yes, they are victims of wicked abuse. Poor kids. Yes, that's right.
And I remember that, hearing about that one. I think I might have seen the video on YouTube actually.
Really?
Justin Bieber glitched on stage, clawing at the crowd, but then he's been seen with the eye change thing as well.
Oh yes, they always cover the eye, don't they?
No, that's the Illuminati thing. But I'm on about when their eyes go into slits, like reptilians.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yes.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
On stage. That was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she and then all of a sudden the music started, and it was like somebody had switched it on.
But talking about our ancestors and satanic cults, nobody ever questions why this country was the only country during World War II that evacuated its children from the cities at a time when all the trains were needed to ferry troops to different locations in the country. Why?
Yeah.
And they reckon that thousands went missing, never seen again.
No.
And I think that's really, really weird that Germany didn't do it. None of the other countries did, but this country did. When at time 1940, when we're supposed to be backs against the wall, and you needed to ferry troops, armaments, tanks, God knows what, and it all went by rail in those days, because by lorries only went about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Fast. So you'd need a train to get things fast. When they all needed that, they had to. Children were being led away from their parents.
Yeah.
I find that extremely strange.
Yeah.
Extremely odd. And
Why just us?
Yes. And where did these children go that went missing?
Yeah.
And also, I'm wondering whether it was actually a social experiment to tear children away from their parents, and that's exactly what communists do, because that's why they want women working, so that the children go to schools where they've got to be nurseries rather, where they've got to be regulated, so the government is actually indoctrinating them subtly. Because that's another thing. When you look at nurseries, there's a nursery that I pass when going to the shops, and all along the windows there's pictures of dinosaurs all round there. You know, when I say dinosaurs, you know, like friendly dinosaurs for infants and that. Well, that reminds me of what John Hamer says, because he doesn't believe there were dinosaurs.
No.
There's now an industry. Because why was it that up to about the 1840s, before Darwin came along, dinosaurs didn't, no other cultures talked about dinosaurs. Then Darwin comes along and suddenly we found dinosaurs, but the actual bones are hidden away in the back of a museum. And what we're seeing is plaster casts of whatever.
Yeah. All dinosaurs and all museums are just casts.
Yes.
So I don't know where these real dinosaur bones are.
Well, that's it.
True.
You know, I mean, it's very interesting. I think what it is to make us look insignificant, make us look like a grain of sand.
Right.
You know, but we're not. We're all very important. Every one of us.
Yeah.
Is a living, breathing being. But all the time, it's just they're trying to destroy us. What is it that the elite know that keep doing this?
Why do they want rid of us? As one of the deceased establishments said, we're useless eaters.
And also the people that finance Stalin and Mao are still there. There may be a different generation, but they're still there. Because people don't realise that communism was actually financed by Wall Street. Both of them were. And I think they were just experiments to see how many people they could push off the earth.
Yeah.
What a silly sort of saying, oh, if it's going to save the planet, it's best if we keep in our houses and lock down for a couple of days. You know, I can see it coming. What's a couple of days? You know, you've got a lifetime of things to do, and you know. But
all going sleep to Rome, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's bread and circuses what we've got now, and we've got the World Cup and things like that. I'm going to upset a load of footballers now, but what is it? That's Roman Colosseum, isn't it? Bread and circuses.
Yeah.
Lots of people look at that, they're not seeing what's going on. But
I did watch the England match though.
I didn't actually. Well, I don't follow football.
I don't. I only ever watch England in the World Cup. That's the only football I will ever watch.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not interested.
But no.
Is this the last ever?
Sorry.
World Cup. Is this the last ever World Cup event?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But
we were on about last something or other. Forgotten what it was.
I know the Olympics, so I get bored with them. I don't even know where the next one is.
Oh,
I haven't watched it. When it was on round where I live, they said, don't go. Oh, where's Michelle gone? Don't go anywhere near was it wild water rafting or whatever they're doing. It was one of the best days I had. I drove straight past, there's no one around.
Yeah.
I think Michelle, are you with us? Shall we all hold hands?
I can hear her.
I'm just getting my phone charged. I do apologise.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm using my phone tonight.
Now,
I've just seen it's on 5%, but
dear,
if I go off, it means I've lost my power.
Oh. Now, we need to get your computer up and running for this, and we need to get John Hamer's computer. So I think we all have positive, nice thoughts, because you know, we won't discriminate against you because you've got an Apple Mac.
No.
And so I'm not puking over you, Deb. And actually, Apple Macs are good. The iPad is quite good, actually. I shouldn't say that, but it is. It's a crappy old one. But no, I think that there is something. I think it is StreamYard, but the trouble is we can't really use any other one else. I don't think you can do live on Zoom. I don't know. Can you?
No, I don't think you can. It's all pre-record, I think.
I mean, StreamYard is brilliant.
Yeah.
It is. But the trouble is it doesn't seem to work on John Hamer's computer and your computer. It's weird, isn't it? You know, but at least you're not doing a John Hamer, which is
Yeah.
you know. Yes, but is your Apple Mac very old? That's what I was going to ask.
No, not really. It's only a couple of years old. But I only use it for the basics. You see, I'm not a very technical person.
Yeah.
So it's probably needing a lot of updating and everything, really, even though it's only a couple of years old. But it needs Firefox and all this. And I'm like,
yes. That is a bit weird, isn't it?
yeah, I'll have to get it sorted.
Because I know that they don't age they don't age as quickly. I know Apple Macs don't age as quickly as ordinary PCs. And there's a lot going from them. I mean, they sell 10-year-old Apple Macs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know.
There's a lot of restrictions to them, though, isn't there, for like internet and things? From what I remember, my mate had one.
Well,
I don't know. I've never experienced that.
If you've got an old computer, an old PC, the best thing you can do is load Linux on it. It's bloody brilliant, Linux. You know, was it? No, it's not. I do lives on Zoom. Oh, do you really, Louise? Thanks for telling me.
Thank you.
So you can, but
I didn't know that.
But can you have a chat room?
Isn't there a limit as to how many people you can have on? Not as though we ever have any more than 3 on light, but
well, that's right. Yeah.
One of them's got some limit of something. I can't remember what it is.
Yes. Oh well. But anyway, next week, all being well, we'll sort John Hamer's computer out. Would you like to come on again, Michelle? Because hopefully with the computer working,
that'd be great.
It should be great. I think that there's something with StreamYard. I don't know what it is, but we get it worked out. That should be all right. And I've told John to change his browser. That might do it. You know, the reason Macs last a little longer is because they are virtually sealed units.
Yeah.
But I've never had any problems with Linux, because with Linux, it's open resource. You don't get viruses on it, because as soon as a virus comes on it, there's millions of people around the world just go, that's it.
Yeah.
But how many people are working in Microsoft? 100? Couple of hundred?
Yeah.
Not as many people as on Linux. And I know that Linux Ubuntu was the bee's knees in it. It really is. So, because I don't like Microsoft personally, I think it's just crap. And with Apple, again, you're like a prisoner, aren't you? You've really got freedom, you know. Anyway, should we wrap this up for tonight?
Yes.
It's been a
Thank
very
you all.
Cool. And we'll be back next week. And I'm sure we'll sort Michelle's problem out with her embarrassing computer problems. Got a bit of trouble, you know. We won't talk about our computer trouble. And all being well, we'll get John back. And if you could learn semaphore and sign language beforehand, because if we can't get it, we'll do it by semaphore, shan't we? That'd be good, wouldn't it? And also, remember, put the old thumb up.
Yes.
And subscribe. It's free to subscribe. Doesn't cost you a penny. It makes us happy. It makes Michelle's cat happy. It makes Roger Ring the cat
very happy.
Very happy. That's the Prime Minister of fuck them all. Here he is. Where is he? Is he a he or she?
I'm sorry. She.
She.
Yeah.
Oh.
Phoebe.
Debbie.
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
We got Bob as well, haven't we? The cat.
Bob, he's asleep on the settee. Snoozing.
I've got a dog as well, Bella.
Oh.
Bob's an only cat.
A mate of mine had a cat, and it used to sleep.
Sorry, Dan.
Listen, Bob's an only cat.
Oh.
But mate of
He
mine
won't tolerate anybody else.
Really? But he used to sleep with his tongue out of its mouth. Have you ever seen a cat sleeping with his tongue out of its mouth? Just go. It'd been run over. It used to like to headbutt cars for some unknown reason. Been run over about 3 times. It's absolute nutty cat it was.
They are quite nutty sometimes.
Yeah, something about cars you didn't like.
Strange. Very strange.
Anyway, Michelle, thank you very much for coming
Yes,
on.
thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you very much, Deb. And
You're welcome.
remember,
Thanks, sir.
whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh.
Yeah. See you next week.
See you next week. And
Bye.
good
Yeah,
night.
thank you. Thanks, Chris.